And I would like.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody. Welcome from Nepal, actually in Patan Durbar Square. This is the famous Krishna temple. I'm right in the midst of these ancient temples and want to welcome you for a very powerful Sunday global healing miracle experiment call. What are the ancient secrets for transforming depression into increasing your happiness? How can you have a fantastic mood? What are these ancient secrets? Increasing your happiness. And Cornelia, oh good. I think there's like an echo here. Let's see here. I just have a little echo from somewhere coming. Okay, good. Fantastic. So I just want to start off by dropping us from our head to our heart. And I'm so excited that here in Nepal, at this temple site, I have some new friends. Actually, can you say hi?
Hi,
man. And they actually play music out here every night. You guys have a song? You guys have a song ready? One song you can sing? Okay, we're gonna start off with this. All right, here we go. And we even have our buddy here, Aditi Devo Bawa here. He's ready for this. Okay, go ahead. Actually, I'll flip the camera around so it's a little easier. Cornelia, are you on Facebook Live? Oh, there we go. Fantastic. All right, ready?
They got muted.
Can you tell us a little bit, what does that song mean?
It means that this song is song for like couple, this eyebrow. I take my girlfriend in eyebrow inside my eye. She is one of the most important person in my life. She did everything for me. She's like, that she did everything for me.
It's like a love song.
Yeah, it's love song. Like this song is dedicated to long distance relationship. I love this song very much. This song is 90th song. Whole Nepali songs.
Good. Well, I'm glad here. Actually, I'll see if I can flip the camera around one more time. I guess it's appropriate. We're doing a long distance love song since we're broadcasting this from Nepal. So that was our long distance love song for you guys. Okay. Well, Jaina, let's go to you. You can introduce everyone and I'll go get set up for the second part where I want to interview. We have some real fantastic cases and stories for you. First of all, I want to make sure everyone feels fully welcome here.
Oh, hello. This is so exciting. Oh my goodness, I'm getting a call. Here we go. Let me see. Charlotte, it's so good to see you. And it looks like Anne. That doesn't look like Anne. That looks like a beautiful girl. Hello, how are you? And it looks like David is on the call and Linda Russo. So good to see you. Oh my gosh. Robin and Roma Rishi. Hello, you two. Beverly and Marcia. How are you, Marcia Levitt? It's so good to see you. And Luke and Jerem. Hello. Michelle and Andrea. It's so good to see you guys. So, is there somebody that has had experience this week with the ancient secrets that they would like to share? Any home remedy or any ancient secrets that they would like to share? Yeah, Jerem.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to show a new friend the Marma point for pain on the left hand here. And the friend had a long sitting time at meetings yesterday and came back and said that it was very, very helpful. So that was first exposure to ancient secrets.
That is so awesome. You know, that
Yeah.
pain marma is so good. So many
Yes.
people use it. How many, by the show of hands, how many people use that pain marma? Yeah, it comes in handy. It really does. Linda was asking me, where am I? I am in North Carolina Beach right now. I'm in Carolina Beach in North Carolina. There we go. I'm here with my sister. We came up here to visit some of her friends, and it's just been a great trip, really great trip. And it's amazing to be able to see, you know, how food affects, you know, my life. You know, when I eat certain foods, what it does to my body, and it, you know, just the knowledge of the doshas and how it all works has been so very helpful. And then the home remedies. Hello, Joseph and Susan, how are you? Last week, I had the pleasure of being able to meet Susan in person and give her a hug, and she gave me a hug from Joseph. It was wonderful to be able to meet her and her siblings. She was in Savannah, and I got to be able to meet her. Is there somebody else that has something that they would like to share? Esther Francis.
I would like to share gratitude for this amazing community. And actually, it nourishes and feeds me multidimensionally, you know, spiritually, physically, mentally, and emotionally every day of my life. I use it when I'm in traffic. I use the points, you know, boom, boom, boom. If I'm not while I'm driving, but when I'm at the red light. It's really practical way, especially if you're in traffic and you want to be someplace at a certain time and it's getting close. You can take that deep, deep breath. Divine timing prevails.
So true.
I'm loving the European call and having the opportunity to participate on it. It's just, Miriam is just miraculous. And the crew that always shows up there, we're just always the perfect pod. And this week it was as if the pieces of the puzzle, like we had orchestrated it, planned it right down to the comments. And of course, it all happened spontaneously and through what, you know, divine grace, whatever we want to call that. And it's just enriched my life immensely. So I love you all. And I just, each face is, it's, you know, like on another call I picked up, I still have it right here. This is, it catches the sun and makes rainbows. And it's one sphere with multi, you know, facets all over. And each one of us is a facet of that one great spirit. And each face brings me joy when I come on. It's a family, even though just very few of you I've met in person at this point, but we're united and I know we're a family of love and we feel it. So it spills over to absolutely every part of my life.
It really does. It's amazing. And I think that that's one of the reasons why we continuously show up, is because this is a way of life. It's being able to change your diet and do the marmas and do the home remedies. I was just in, I I was in a Whole Foods store this morning just gathering all the ingredients for the immunity tea because I wanted to make sure that my immune system was strong while we're traveling. And just having, connection to these types of things is just truly amazing. Jill, would you like to share something?
Yes, hi. I feel as though I had a real miracle this week. I know some of you, I was on the European call, not on Friday, but the one before, and I really wasn't feeling very well and went rapidly downhill and was just so ill. And Dr. Giovanni had given me the told me about the recipe for the bees, the one he used for the bees. And in my fevered state, I hadn't written down the ingredients properly. So when I came out of my fever, I couldn't actually understand what I'd written. So I hadn't put 2 and 2 together. So I'd started taking the remedy for fever and cough and got rid of the fever in 2 days. And then Clint had messaged me the recipe that I needed, and Dr. Giovanni phoned me. So I started on the other remedy, and within 2 days from feeling like I'm dying, I was being a bit dramatic. My voice totally changed. My eyes were open. I could converse with people, and it was just a total miracle. And I'd been told that it could work really quickly. It certainly did. And I put it out on Facebook, and quite a few people have contacted me out of our Ancient Secrets group, asking me for the what I did. So I've been able to sort of forward the information, and of course about the book, which is magical. So that's to me an incredible miracle, because I really, really felt ill. And I knew I was feeling better because my humor came back.
I love it. I'm so glad that you're feeling better. So good.
Yeah, I love that too, Jill. Go ahead, Stephen.
Thank you. It wasn't a very nice place to be in, I have to be honest. And I did see it as a gift, but I struggled with that.
Yes, the Aditi Bawa. It definitely is something that we get to be able to look at all the facets of our life. I do that quite often. What is the gift in this?
I was being told I had to be still. Well, I couldn't be much else really. But yes, so it was good, sort of.
Well, sometimes I don't see the gift right away. Sometimes it takes me a minute to be able to find the gift. Sometimes it takes me minutes, and sometimes it takes me months. So
it took me a little bit longer than a minute or two. Took me about 2 days to see it as a gift. So
I'd say that's pretty fast for something like that. So congratulations, Jill. Fantastic. And I love your authenticity too, because really, what is this called the Global Healing Miracle Experiment? It's about being real. And in the realness, like, what can we discover? What elements or what ingredients are there that can produce things that are miracles, not only for us, but for globally? And I just really like your realness, Jill. And then also that you did it. You applied that secret from page 293 and then saw the transformation actually happen. So I just want to say bravo for that. And Gina, I want to come back to you in a moment, unless there's something else you want to say in the introduction part.
No, I just saw that Luke had his hand up, and I just was wondering if it was okay if he spoke.
Great idea. Yeah, Luke, and then we'll go into our first special guest.
So Jana, this is in response to your question about what did we do in the last week that involves the ancient secrets. So on 2 occasions in the last week, I was not feeling well, like something coming on, just feeling crappy, some sniffles and very, very low energy, just very lethargic. So I immediately made, again, the immunity tea on page 293.
Good.
And in both instances, I felt perfectly fine within an hour. So I love that immunity tea, and I've had a chance to use it twice in the last week.
That's so cool. That's so fantastic, Luke. Thank you for sharing that. I think like, and that's just one of the remedies, of so many. I got this beautiful message. I don't know if she's on the call, but she sent me a message saying that she just finished listening to the audiobook like a day ago, and had already had a chance to apply some of the things and was talking about how the world needs this. I don't know. Are you on the call right now who sent me that Facebook message and I invited you? If you are, you can unmute yourself. And I was just thinking, how powerful that we know that this exists, that we have this in our lives. And celebrating this week, not only the launch last week of the audiobook in Italian, but I think a lot of you saw that it hit #1 on the Amazon bestseller list in its category. So, and I just thought, wow, that was all done with love. Ilaria, the whole team, I just want to say thank you to them that translated. And Alex, I'm recording it. He couldn't be on the call today because of but we have such a great story for him to share, and I can't wait till he can be on the call. So I just wanted to say awesome congratulations, not only to them, but the other translators I saw just yesterday. Spanish is so close. So close. It's like in the final stages. I know Cornelia is working on the German. It's like final stages. Turkish, final stages. Hindi, final stages. We got Russian, final stages. Japanese, there's some unbelievable news that I cannot wait to announce when the Japanese book is launched. So all these are like right on the edge. Arabic completed and just in the formatting process. I want to say thank you to all those people who are devoting so much time, love, and effort for that. Your love is making an impact and will change more people's lives than you realize. So thank you. I'm saying, are you on the call? Do you have the Farsi book with you? I just want to say that our second guest.
Of course, I'm here.
Fantastic. I don't know if you can be on camera and show the book in Farsi, but I just want to, at some point, just you can have that queued up and we'll have that ready. For
I'll go on camera now. I look forward to it.
We love seeing you. There it is. Yeah. I don't know.
I ordered some, and as soon as I got it, I checked, and it's back to front. But I've gifted 2 people already, and I said this is a mistake in in printing, but they are reading it. They're reading it, and they keep getting confused. They keep turning the wrong page. But I asked them to and look for any mistakes, and yeah.
Good. Well, we're definitely still working on it. It's a good metaphor for life. And we're trying something new that we've never done before. Actually, as this Ancient Secrets community, it's not a business, not a religion, not a cult. It's just, it's some new model. And when we're doing something new, sometimes things will get a little bit confusing at certain points. And then we lean into love, let love guide us. Talking about operating by our heart, by our third eye instead of our senses. I also posted this week and was sent out an email about those that I showed some videos from that special meditation, that 5-day immersion meditation that I did. If anyone is interested in that, there's some more times coming up for that. And I'm going to go again because I found it so valuable. It's called VibraVision Pro. If you're interested, make sure that you send a link. But speaking of being guided by her heart and letting miracle and seeing all the miracles that come, one of my dear sisters, Brandee, is on the call. Brandee, I don't know if you can unmute yourself and say hi.
Hi, brother. So happy to be here. Thank you so much for creating this opportunity for all of us. It's a miracle that I'm on the call right now. Thank you for getting me to the call. Yes, I'm actually in the middle of a series of miracles unfolding through a tragedy that's happening. And I would love to get some advice about how I might be able to support someone using some of the Ancient Secret tools. But yeah, a few days ago, I was driving to get out of my house to get some space to work on some really urgent things. And something told me to call a woman who's like a mother to me. And she would be like my Dr. Naram, who brought me into my life's work. And she's so important to me. And I hadn't seen her in such a long time. And I'm just like, something in me was like, you know what, forget everything you're doing right now and go take her to lunch. And I call her up. I drive to take her to lunch, an hour away. She gets in my car and she's like, thank God you're here right now. you're the second person I've been able to tell about a tragedy that's going on, but thankfully I'm okay. And about 2 months ago, Al-Qaeda hacked into my my bank accounts and everything, and they've been using my identity for trafficking and all these horrible things. And she was like, and thank God the FBI are involved because they protected my life savings. I'm just right on the verge of retiring, and they had access to everything. And I'm listening to more of the story, and she's like, yeah, the guy's so nice. He's gonna come visit me at my house with his kids when this is all over. And I'm like, this sounds really weird. What kind of FBI would be visiting her like this with his kids? And then I start asking more questions, and I'm like, well, you're saying that you're protecting your money and you're sending it places. Where are you sending it? She's like, well, I don't quite understand, but it's a Bitcoin machine. And the guy's really nice because I don't know how to use a computer, but he comes in and he uses my computer every day. And for 2 months, he calls me twice a day from a different number. And he tells me, he's been really protecting me because these criminals are trying to kill me. And also I could have went to prison for being involved in all this. So he's protecting me. And I'm like, no, this is a scam. Like, no government agency would have you sending money to Bitcoin. And she just, like, I start telling her all the reasons why it's a scam. And she shuts down, and she's like, honey, I'm a very intuitive woman. I'm safe right now. So I go to lunch with her and I back off, but I'm still asking questions very gently. I drop her off. I call my friend who's ex-CIA, and I call another friend who's an international criminal attorney. They walk me through the whole scam. I go back to her house, and I have both of them talk to her, and they're giving her about 50 reasons why these agencies would never do any of these things. And at the end of the call, she's like, thank you guys very much. And she goes to her room, and I hear her call the criminal, and she tells him that everything's on track. I'm going to get you my last money to you. And she's basically in such fear and mind control and denial at this point that she can't even hear the facts. And so for the last 2 days, I had to take it into my own hands and basically go to her banks and notify the bank managers. Like, pretty much they've wiped out most of her life savings so far. And I'm trying to protect the last money before it went to them. And I had to get her like a phone that's not traceable so she can communicate, since she believes that she's under surveillance and all of this. So I'm right in the middle of all of this right now. Like, she's still believing that this is all true. And I've pulled her family and everyone close together to come up with a plan of like how we're going to support her when this actually hits her. So I would love to know what ancient secrets are there, even to maybe help someone who can't see truth. Oh, wait, I can't hear you.
Sorry about that. I think I was on mute. I just saying thank you for sharing that. My heart was feeling every moment of that, where, first of all, I want to acknowledge that were definitely guided by love to follow that prompting and sit down with her for lunch and actually be a listening ear. And it's really interesting, like, metaphor of so many things, Actually, before I respond at all, I want to open it up to this community. As you're listening to this, and Brandee's asking this real powerful question: what are the ancient secrets that can help in this kind of a situation? Kind of a situation where someone maybe isn't even open to hearing what's happening, and also loving that person and wanting to help and trying to navigate that space. I want to open this up just to hear from a few people if you want to share.
And
how does this?
I'll add one more thing, just because I think it's important for this community to know, for their own, especially like they're targeting elderly people who don't understand technology. But they said when I called the FBI, they would barely even take the case because they said there's hundreds of thousands of these happening right now, and they don't even have enough staff to even take the reports. And then I went to the police, and the police basically said the same thing. They were like, well, they were very reluctant to take a report. Like, I forced them to do the work, but they were just like, yeah, there's so many of these, you know, there's not much that we can do. So I just want to put that out there to, you know, because it's become such a huge thing. My grandma, who raised me, was this close to the same thing happening about 6 months ago. She almost went to an ATM, and thank God something stopped her. But there's a target on Americans right now, and especially with like Bitcoin and new technologies, it's happening everywhere. And so I hope that maybe this call can also inform people to stay close and to warn, you know, their parents or elders in your life.
Thank you so much for just bringing this to our awareness. Does anyone have any thoughts or any response that you want to share before I share anything? Which just said it almost happened to her dad as well. Santa says, thank you for sharing.
Susan has her hand raised. Susan.
Yeah, please, Susan.
You're muted, Susan.
Okay, I want to thank you for sharing this with us. I think it's so incredibly important. And one of the things that my heart really feels is that you not be alone in this, and you not try to take this on without a great deal of support for yourself, because it's a huge, really negative morphic field that you're encountering. And if you try to take this on alone, it can, you know, really impact you in not so good of a way. So I think it's great you've come on this call and you're sharing it. And I really support you to share it with as many people as you can, to that this be part of what your mission is with trying to help your dear friend. But this, I see this as an avenue that, you know, shout it from the treetops about what's going on, but feel loved and feel supported. And know that the answers are going to come. They always do, one way or another. But I really want you to know you're not alone in fighting this and in calling attention to this. So I want you to feel so supported in what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for acknowledging that, because yesterday I literally felt sick from the energy. Yeah. I was tapping into, I was being attacked energetically by the whole, and I had to keep just calling it all in for support and for protection, because it was such an intense, dark energy of what's going on. So thanks for reminding me about that. And I am calling in support for prayers and energy around the whole situation. Thank you.
That's good. And I would really support that this community were good about sending people love and protection. And I would call on all of us, you know, Clint, after you talk, that we all, or maybe right now, that we all just give you really wonderful blast of love and protection. Yeah,
we definitely want to give you a blast of love right now. But we're going to put your hands together from all over the world. And Brandee, what's the name of your, or I guess maybe you don't have to say the name, but we'll just send love to
Jennifer.
Jennifer.
Yeah.
All right. So we're going to send a blast of love. We love you. And we're with you. Yeah, the one of the quotes that pops out to my mind every time isn't just the Aditi Deva Baba, but the Dr. Ram says that wherever is our heartache, our challenge, our obstacle has within it the seeds of equal or greater benefit. And in the midst of the challenge, man, it's hard to sometimes see. Even on this call, the fact that you bring this to our attention on a global scale, it's like, even if we can stop it from happening to one person, what a gift. You know, but then also I really believe the power of us sending love especially where there's darkness or confusion or fear-based actions. And the question that comes to me that I want to kind of like point the love is, what do you want, Brandee? What do you want?
Well, on a large scale, I would like, you know, to the woman who just spoke, she made a great point. I would like this to be blasted out to the world. Like, I would like awareness of what is happening and protection over our elders. Like, I was raised by my grandparents, and so I have a very special soft spot for elders, and it breaks my heart when the police told me that what's happening, if these people don't have family or support financially after they've been wiped out, they're getting handed over to the state, and they're basically moving them into these big buildings, like with just like people with dementia, you know, could be sitting right next to you, and they have like curtains and you have one little bed. And that breaks my heart, you know, that somebody worked their whole life and can just end their life, just end up in an institution like this. So I'm praying for solutions and for protection of our elders and awareness on a large scale. And for Jennifer, I'm praying that whatever part of her wants to feel safe, you know, the part of her that's looking for safety, you know, at the extent of blinding herself from the truth, I'm praying for healing on her heart for that place of that little girl that's hanging on for safety right now.
So beautiful. Yeah, as I've been here and we've been working on the Goddess Love Project, and I've been with Romeo, he makes the point every time. He's like, how, as humanity, how can we know peace when we don't respect the source from whence we came? And he's always talking about mothers in that way, but of course that applies to our elders. How can we know peace if we don't respect the source from whence we came? What an interesting world that our existence that we live in which there can be such forces operating of grief, of greed, and of fear, and of manipulation, and all these kind of things. And just to like take the moment and like say, okay, this is inside of us. Yeah, this exists inside of us right now. What do we want? And Brandee, as you speak those words of what you want for humanity and what you want for Jennifer, I feel the power of it. You know, I remember, for those that don't know, Brandee, you were on it was like the second ever miracle experiment game, the Global Healing Miracle Experiment, in which you came on one day and shared what you wanted, which seemed like, you know, maybe for some people, seemed like the most craziest thing ever, that you wanted to get together, you know, 1 billion people to meditate for healing during the time of, you know, the pandemic, and in fact, get together people like the Pope and the Dalai Lama, all the heads of all the different religions, and get 1 billion people to, you know, be in this space. And I don't know, for other people hearing that, what they thought, if they thought that's so out there, but if you can manifest that, Brandee, which you ended up doing, in such a cool
happened.
Way.
The craziest part is that actually happened, and the Pope and the Dalai Lama and the heads of every, you know, major religion came together and did a prayer side by side for the planet, and did a call to the world. So it happened. So thanks for kicking it off, brother, with your amazing community and planting the seed.
Yeah. It's so cool. It was what, you know, this is like the Global Healing Miracle Experiment, and these kind of things are possible not on a personal level, but also as we do this work, it impacts globally more than ever. Brandee, I don't know if you feel this way too, but you know, even when Sangeeta had flown here from London and she hosted this event, and maybe there was 25 people in the room here in Nepal, she was almost like, I don't know if she felt like nervous that there wasn't more people, but I'm like, no, it doesn't matter if there's 25 people or 25,000 people. Everyone is a microcosm of the divine, and we're all interconnected. And all we have to do is love so much and be present with the person right in front of us and with ourselves. And then it impacts all of us. And what you do on a personal level really makes a difference on a global level. And so thank you, Brandee, for expressing that want so purely and so beautifully. And if you could do your other thing that you wanted, I'm hopeful that this came to you, powerful Shakti creator, you know, that this came to your awareness because you have capacity to speak and to reach and to, I mean, I didn't know there's so many cases. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's too shocking. That's
Shocking.
not, yeah. And so now, what do we want? Now for everyone, man, the world, we are facing, and we're going to continue to face challenges we've never heard of before. And how do we respond? And so this is for everyone on the call or watching the recording. What is your internal reaction when you hear things like this? What's your internal reaction? And it's really difficult not to go to like fear, frustration, anger, depression, feeling like, what difference can I make? Or overwhelmed, But if you are in that space, man, that's a tough space to be in, to come up with creative, powerful solutions. Now, one of the things that I love is that the ancient secrets definitely help us. Dr. Am says this is about helping us go to more resourceful states in a way. If we're feeling mad, sad, angry, afraid, how do we go into the state of glad, of love, in which you have a different way, instead of reacting, to respond to any situation? And Brandee, or actually, I don't know if you can stay, but right now on the call is such a great story in which they're actually going to share what are the ancient secrets to shift that mindset, and what can you very practically do that can help shift anyone from that state of mad, sad, afraid into glad, from fear into basically hope or possibility or love. So do you have a little bit of time you can stay for this?
Yeah, I do. I'm good. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Mati, are you here on this call right now?
Hi, Dr. Clint.
Hello. Hello. And what time is it for you now, Mati?
It's 3 a.m. here in New Zealand.
3 a.m. That is crazy. I think it's crazy awesome because I do that sometimes when I'm over there. But I am so grateful that you set your alarm and made sure that you had time to tell us this story, because I think it's so remarkable. I don't know, Dr. Tushar, are you on the call too? If you are, can you just put on your camera and unmute? I just want to hear your voice. But Mati, first of all, can you share a little bit about your sister? So you're in New Zealand, your sister's in Iran, and you were there over the holiday or recently, and just talk about what you saw and what you gave and how things unfolded.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for this opportunity. And thank you, Brandee, for making us all aware of this, sending you love and blessings. Yeah, so going back many, many years, Katty, my younger sister, she went through a very, very difficult divorce. And basically her health problem started from then. She had a 4-year-old at the time and suddenly became a single mum. So gradually she was just going downhill really fast. It started with a lot of fear, a lot of anger, and then acne started coming out on her skin. And I remember at the time she was rushed to hospital a couple of times with severe heart palpitations. We didn't know. She thought it was heart attack. Thankfully, it wasn't. So gradually throughout the years, it just got worse and worse. And during that time, her journey actually took her a few times to India. She took her child with her, and she was just searching for meaning. She couldn't understand why all this was happening to her. We grew up in England and Spain. We left Iran way before the revolution, but we had all gone back to Iran at that time, and she was married to an Iranian. Sorry, I just get emotional because I just keep thinking of the problem she had and what she was going through.
Yeah.
Yes.
I want to hear, as a sister, what was it like as a sister seeing her struggle with these things? How did it impact you and the family? How did it impact your heart?
It was very difficult to watch her going downhill so fast, especially for my mother, of course. but I was sort of back and forth. I was going back to UK, coming back to New Zealand. And my husband is a New Zealander, and that's why I live here. So yeah, but obviously trying to encourage her, but she's actually a very, very strong-minded person. She's very independent, and by profession, she's actually a naturopath. She studied naturopathy in New Zealand for a while, and then went on to study Chinese medicine and acupuncture. But unfortunately, because of her problem, she had to stop her practice, and she hasn't been able to work since. So going back to the health problems, her Hashimoto, she developed Hashimoto's disease.
Yeah, and for those that don't know that, can you describe what that is and how it affects someone?
It's a thyroid issue. I'll leave that to Dr. Tushar to explain more clearly, but her face was swelling up. She couldn't function at all. Basically, she was in and out of doctors the whole time. She's still on medication, but after the consultation with Dr. Tushar, it's relatively balanced. So really grateful for that.
Yeah, good. Maybe we can go into that. So now, had your sister ever heard of Ancient Secrets before? Like, was she open to doing something different than maybe she would have traditionally expected for a situation like this?
Yes, I was just going to come to that. Many years ago, she was losing a lot of hair. She was going through this massive hair loss. So I was desperately trying to find solutions on the internet. And surprisingly, I came across Dr. Naram's video, one of his very earliest videos. And, I thought, oh, what is this? What is this? So I got into it. I started watching his YouTube videos, and then I came across your videos. So I was sending it to her. And at the time, I think there was a phone number for Dr. Naram on the internet. And we were desperately trying to find him. I thought, well, if we can just talk to him and he can talk to this through, it would be wonderful. And I suggested that she goes to India and meet Dr. Naram, or if he's in Europe somewhere, she could go. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. But when I was in Iran, I think I left Iran about 5 months ago, and she was the only one left in Iran.
Before you share this part, I just want to say, I'm so happy you saw the video on hair growth. I remember recording that of Dr. Naram. I don't know if everyone here knows, but I'm the one that started Dr. Naram's YouTube channel and his Facebook page from scratch, from when it was 0. And I'd be like behind the camera recording all those videos and posting them. And even to hear that this brought hope at that moment and introduced the possibility, it makes me so happy. It makes me feel like all that tension. So now, share what happened when you were in Iran this time, 5 months ago.
5 months ago, I was leaving Iran. We were there for work with my husband for about 4 years. And we had to leave. We had to, our posting finished, so we had to come back to New Zealand. And we have no family there. She's the only one that's left behind in Iran. And I thought, how can I leave her like this? My heart was just, it was just broken. And the thing that came to me, I thought, Dr. Clint can help. So I bought your book and gifted it to her before I left. And I said, read it, please. I'm just begging you to read this book. She did, and it touched her so deeply. It touched her heart so deeply, and I'm so grateful to you. She went on to do the 1 month Mung diet, and it helped her a lot. She lost a lot of weight, and my own go-to drink is Dr. Naram's energy drink, which I suggested she do that as well. And again, helped her a lot. But then after a month, after I left, she started going downhill again. I think it was just the loneliness, the depression, she forgot all about it again. So it was because of the 3-year training practice and the challenge activity that came up, I said, well, this is maybe one way of getting her to come again and just show up. And I called her and I said, Katy, I need your help for this challenge activity. Are you willing to come on the consultation? And she said, yes. So we booked an appointment with Dr. Tushar, and that's how it all happened.
I want to say that, yeah, so for those that aren't part of the 3-year practitioner training, the Ancient Secrets Foundation partner with Ayush Shakti, who has so many fantastic doctors that have been trained, some by Dr. Ram, some by Dr. Smita Naram, and some with both of them together. And then everyone in the course has a mentor. And so Mati's mentor is Dr. Tushar. Dr. Tushar, can you say hello?
Hello, everyone. Hi. Namaste.
Yeah, fantastic. You're in India right now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so Dr. Tushar is the one from Ayush Shakti that took that Zoom call. And Dr. Tushar, do you want to describe what you saw, what the conversation was like with Mati's sister in Iran?
Yes. First of all, I really want to appreciate and thank you, Dr. Clint, for providing such a platform so many people can connect together and share their stories and get inspired by each other. Secondly, I want to thank you, Matty. Matty is so enthusiastic person. I met her through this 3 years program, and in just 3 or 4 months, she's catching up with so many things, doing her personal work, professional work, and still she is so much enthusiastic about learning this ancient secret or Siddha Veda science. So thank you very much, Matty, for introducing Katy to me. So let's talk about Katy, who is a center of attraction of this case. When I first did my video consultation with Katy, I found out she is more of kapha related person. Her face reading or the other observation indicates that she is more prominently has this kapha imbalance. And accordingly, I diagnosed that she may have this anxiety and depression issue. And the most importantly, not letting go, not forgetting thing or not forgiving thing is a main cause of all the problems. So that diagnosis was confirmed by Katy. Yes, she had this nature where she can't let go of the things. She overthink about the thing, and that was the reason causing anxiety and depression. And definitely there was a physical issues like this Hashimoto disease, then digestive issues, etc. For those who don't know, Hashimoto disease is the condition where
anyone.
Sorry?
Or just real quick, because what you shared was so important. Brandee, as you're thinking about Jennifer, or any of us are thinking about our lives, who's had it where it's been hard to let go of something troubling us? And it's been really difficult to let go. And because we can't let go of it, it brings us into a state of sadness or depression or low mood or mood swings. And then that also impacts our physical health. I don't know if anyone, you don't even have to raise your hand, but I think all of us face that to some degree. And so I want to say thank you to Katy for following this path and showing us in such an extreme case what happened in only 1 month from such a foreign, such a different across the world country. Oh, Dr. Mario, great you're here. These kind of stories are maybe the ones we can do for the research, as well. So please, actually, Mati, at this point, what was your reaction when Dr. Tushar was speaking to your sister on that call? It's nervous when you have someone you love struggling with such a big problem and you don't know what's going to unfold. And can you describe what was your experience on that call, Mati?
I was absolutely stunned and amazed. I thought, how can he predict? I mean, it was just, everything was just so spot on, to the point. And this was all online. He checked Katy's eyes and features and tongue and everything, and it was just spot on. I mean, this was before Katy actually mentioned her problems and issues. Dr. Tushar was just telling her, you have this, you have that, you have that. I mean, late after the call, Kathy and I spoke for about an hour, and we were both just shocked. We thought, how is this possible? From our sisters.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what I love is you know, if you've read the book or you know about Dr. Nam's work, a big part of it is pulse, you know, understanding from the pulse. Oh, beautiful, you got it there, Mash. You're good. Now, when the world was on lockdown, what could you do? You couldn't go visit someone, and the Vaidyas weren't able to travel as much or at all. And I want to give acknowledgement to Dr. Heman, Dr. Ronak, Dr. Smita, the whole team that actually doubled down on how can we still be of service with these ancient secrets. And one reason I love this story so much is because, Monty, you're in New Zealand. Dr. Tushar, you're in India. Monty, your sister's in Iran. Now, even without being able to transfer herbs to where she was, just the power of the instruments, of the recommendations that Dr. Tushar said, when she did it, such a transformation happened. And, you know, Monty, maybe can you just in short say, what was it when it was at its worst versus then what happened 1 month later? What was the transformation? And then right after that, we'll go into exactly what she did.
Yes, sure. I mentioned she had a lot of acne, major digestive issues. I mean, she couldn't actually eat properly. She had bloating, a lot of facial tension. She was blinking her eyes every second. She has twitches. She had twitches in her face. It was really disturbing and worrying to watch her go through all this, and all alone. She was by herself, and yeah, it was just a lot of depression, and I mean, the transformation after 1 month was just incredible. I still can't believe it. It's just.
What has been the transformation? What is it like now versus before? So now her skin and her mood and her energy.
Yeah, she's got a lot of energy. Her skin is just clear. She's glowing. No depression. She's gone back to Qigong. She's doing her yoga again, exercise. She's going out, meeting friends. She's just a totally different person, hair loss stopped, Hashimoto balance. It's it's within 1 month to see such miracles happen. And she'd seen so many different doctors throughout the years, so many in New Zealand when she could travel here to visit us, or in Iran. Nothing helped her, nothing.
Wow, Cornelia, can you cue up the before and after pictures so we can see those? Monty, as her sister and seeing in the 1 month that actually you were a conduit of this healing. You were definitely, you know, guided by love. And to see this result for someone you love so much, what does that feel like?
Oh my goodness, it's just incredible. I mean, I believed in it. That's why I'm here in the 3-year practitioner course, but to make someone else believe in it too, I'm just so grateful. I mean, I've been giving your book, Dr. Clint, to as many people as I can. And people have been doing the Moong diet and the energy drinks and the marmas, and I've seen results. But Kathy really stuck to the diets and, you know, what Dr. Tushar recommended. And you can see it works. If you stick to it, it really does work.
Yeah, I think that's a really important point, is that she was disciplined and actually followed it. She actually did the recommendations. Cornelia, can you put the before picture? So this is a before picture here. You can see, let's see here if we can pull it up. We can see the downloads. Let's see if it opens up here for us. I don't know why it's not opening, Cornelia, but we can see your screen that you're trying to open it. Okay, Cornelia, as you kind of maybe what you can do is open the photos first and then share your screen from there. Yeah, so maybe just have them open on your desktop and then just share them one by one. I want to say that obviously results vary, and that's something important to say, is that depends on who the person is and what they're struggling with. So we don't share this as like this happens for everyone, but as a giving a possibility. Oh, there she is. So this was, before she met Dr. Tushar, and you can see even her. Go ahead, describe what you see, because actually I see a beautiful person. But tell me what you see, Mati.
Yeah, she's, you can see her acne. I don't know if the photo is very clear, but a lot of acne in her face, very dull. You can see the sorrow actually in her eyes. She just wasn't feeling well at all. This is a couple of months before Dr. Tushar's consultation.
Before, and then maybe Cornelia, you can flip open to the picture from just yesterday. This is what she looks like just yesterday. There she is. And describe what you see here, Mati.
Oh, you can see, I mean, the glow in her skin, her eyes, it's just perfection.
It's so beautiful. I just love hearing a sister say that about a sister. It makes me so happy. It's so cool.
She just looks happy. She really does look happy there.
Yeah, I have sisters, and I love them so much. And when I see them happy, especially if I contributed in some way, it means all the world to me. And so I feel your joy, the spontaneous joy in that. And in the process, this ancient secrets, a lot of it can be customized. And so what Dr. Tushar was did a really customized plan, but some of it is applicable on a wider scale. What are the ancient secrets for how we can decrease depression and increase our happiness? How to get out of ruts of not being able to let go. And Dr. Tushar, can you share a little bit more? I know people are very eager to know, what did you recommend and what happened?
Yes, Dr. Clint, you are correct. I used what I learned from Dr. Pankaj sir or Dr. Smita ma'am. In your book, you have mentioned the 6 keys of healing: diet, lifestyle, herbal remedies, home remedies, marma point, panchakarma or ashtakarma. So that is the keys of treating any kind of illness. In Kathy's case, I used some of the keys. Herbal remedies, etc. were not possible because it can't be transferred to her place. But we started with the lifestyle and diet changes, as well as detoxification through the diet changes, marma point specially, and home remedies. So all this together generated this excellent and amazing results. So all the appreciation or thanks goes to Dr. Pankaj sir and Dr. Smita ma'am. I'm just a medium who just
Thank you
applying that knowledge. Yes.
That's so beautiful. Well, I don't know if you feel comfortable, but can you give us some more specifics? What diet changes did you recommend, and which marma points did you have her press? And I want, just for people who are, needing some practical thing, like maybe to do as an experiment for themselves. Actually in the 1-year immersion course right now, this month is about ancient secrets for mental health, emotional health. And we're doing an experiment actually that I'm gonna talk about, but maybe it's one of the things that you recommended. But specifically, what did you recommend, and what did Kati do for this time religiously?
So as I mentioned, I want her to, be free from her feelings or the past trauma, etc. So make her, forgive and forget these things. I use this forgive and forget marma, which we generally prescribe or advise to many of our clients, as well as the person who are healthy to become more healthier. So this forgive and forget marma is most useful to keep the trauma or the past experience away and keep you present in the same moment, so you can give your 110% to that moment. So that forgive and forget marma was really helpful in Kathy's case. And the second marma which I recommended for her here we call it a happy murmur. Dr. Clint, you maybe know it as a 7-finger murmur. Though on your right hand from the wrist, you count 6 finger, and on the 7th finger, you touch it. Same way, murmur points like 6 times. And as the name suggests, it creates a feeling of happiness in our body and mind. So this 2 murmur was advised, were advised by me to Kathy, and she is doing that.
That's very, very powerful. You know, there's a video where Dr. Ram walks you through how to do the forgive and the forget marma, the let go marma. In fact, if anyone can put that in the chat, I think people would benefit from it. And also, I love that you also showed her point 7, the happy marma, you know, and what I love about marma is, okay, maybe I'm in an area where I can't get the herbs. If I can get the herbs, awesome. And it would be great, Dr. Tushar, if you can describe which herbs, if she was able to get them, would help people who are in a situation like that. But if you can't, you always have your hands with you, your body with you. You know, you can press points. That's one thing I love about this Ancient Secrets is it's so accessible, you know, and free. That part of it. So, as someone else was going to share something, Jaina or someone. I just heard someone, or Monty maybe, I don't know. But and then Monty, maybe you could share what diet changes did she make? Like what food did she change? What did she start avoiding? What did she start having more of? And any home remedies or anything like that?
Yeah, she stopped basically having milk was one of them, I remember. And then she went on the liquid diet that Dr. Tushar prescribed, which was I think it was the mung bean one, Dr. Tushar, am I correct?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So she went on liquid for about 3 days, basically, and then started on the khichdi, I think, Dr. Tushar, I think you'd probably know better. I think I've got...
Yeah, for Matty, for your sister, I suggested a detox diet. Detox diet includes, you know, you have to start with the detox tea first, then mung bean soup, vegetable soup, then eventually you shift to khichdi made of from, that is porridge made of from 70% vegetable mung and just a little bit of carbohydrates. And then you shift to your normal food like, you know, vegetable or roti made from millets, etc. And protein in terms of mung beans, rajma, other things. So with this diet, my aim was to make the detoxification, though the herbs were not available at her place, but that diet also is a good tool to do the detoxification. And when the toxins remove from your body, mind, you feel that energy is circulating throughout the body and you can feel the changes. So that's why the diet was there.
Man, so powerful, and it is customized. So when you have your consultation, your Zoom consultation with whoever the Vaidya is, it's amazing how much they can personalize it for you. In fact, I just did a pulse clinic here in Nepal that Sangeeta came to, and there's a wonderful man by the name of Anand that came to the consultation. Now, he had a consultation with Dr. Ram months before Dr. Ram left the body. In fact, I just seen him briefly at the clinic there in India. And when I took his pulse and I saw what was there, and I asked him, what do you want? And when I gave him the specific remedy that's actually in chapter 2 of the book that Dr. Ram would recommend a lot for when people are in a low mood, he got so happy. He's like, that is the exact same thing that Dr. Ram recommended for me. And I was waiting for you to say that thing, you know? And so for anyone who wants another really powerful remedy for balancing the mental and emotional health and well-being, it's on page 31 of the book. And the remedy basically is you mix a half a teaspoon of ghee, 1 pinch of nutmeg or a thread of saffron, whatever you have access to. You heat it over a candle or a lighter, just briefly, just warm it a little bit. And then with an eyedropper, you put 2 drops in each nostril. Now, as the challenge activity for the 1-year immersion, we're doing this. We're having an experience of doing this every day for this month. Many of us are doing this. And it's sometimes a little weird, especially for Western minds, to stick something up your nose, you know, but it's so powerful. And so if we have a little time, I want to have anyone who's been doing this share what your results are with it. Now, having said this, I want to kind of pull it back to Brandee and your powerful question. What I noticed in the story from Mati is this, is the first thing is someone has to have a desire. And Mati, what I want to acknowledge is you, first of all, you had your own conviction that healing, that whatever was possible. And through your conviction, you did things that were loving. You actually gave her a copy of the book. Many people will send a TEDx talk or another video, like you saw the video I posted of Dr. Ram with hair. You know, it's interesting how the starting point for healing happens, for deep healing happens. And through that, it starts to increase a desire to make a change, to do something different. And so the very first thing, most people aren't going to change their diet so drastically, because that's one of the most difficult things to do. It's like it's our habit, it's our identity, it's our, you know, I don't know, emotional comfort lots of times is what we eat. But not only what we eat here, but what we feed ourselves here. And Dr. Ram says, when you change your food, you can change your future. Well, how do you get someone to even want to do it long enough to notice a difference? My guess is the first day that Kati did it, it wouldn't create some huge transformation that first day. And sometimes the first week, it's more difficult because you're detoxing. So stuff's coming out of your skin or your dreams or your mood, all kinds of stuff's happening. So you have to have enough conviction and confidence to stick with it through that time where it looks like maybe things are getting a little worse. And then on the other end of it, you start to feel so much more clear. You've let go of fear. You've let go of anxiety. You've let go of so many burdens. And in the process, your sleep is better. Your energy is better. Your moods are better. Your motivation is better. And you're focused on what you want instead of being focused on what you don't want. So now on a very, very simple level, that's what it's about. When anytime we're feeling depressed or sad or lonely or discouraged, just be curious about, what am I focused on right now? Am I focused on what I want or what I don't want? And in this particular case, you know, you help to redirect your own mind and also Kati's mind to what she wanted, and showed her a pathway for doing that. And so Dr. Tushar, and in fact, the whole Ayush Shakti team, Dr. Smita, Dr. Hemlan, Dr. Ronak, obviously Dr. Naram, thank you. Thank you for helping so many people literally all over planet Earth when they're in situations where they feel no hope, to find solutions and to find simple things they can do from anywhere that can provide such a big transformation. So powerful. I don't know, Brandee, if you're still on the call.
I'm
just
here.
Curious if any, yeah. No, hearing this story, it's maybe not like an exact one-to-one match, but any inspiration or any insight come to you as you're listening about how it applies to this particular situation with your friend or with yourself?
No, absolutely. What came to me is she's been having like a health issue, stomach, and she's testing for bacteria. And I was just thinking to bring one of my 50 copies of Ancient Secrets that I recently purchased over to her house, and maybe deliver some of these remedies that we're talking about, you know, and start there today.
That's awesome. You know, I think it was just on, was it Monday or whenever you told me you just bought 50 copies of the book to give to everyone that you knew. But I can't think of a better starting point for deep healing. And it's weird. I mean, it's powerful. I won't say weird, but it's awesome that just from even having the book in her home, even if she doesn't read it, or even if she only reads the first quote, like what this book ultimately does is it brings people from a state of fear and impossible and worry into a state of hope, healing, and possibility. It unlocks certain stuff on so many different levels. The teaching of Dr. Ram and the whole story as it unfolded, that in itself will be healing. And again, even if she only reads the first story, you know, and then who knows, as her gut heals, as her energy, and what will lift from her, you know, mental, emotional fields that will open her up to other possibilities too. Now, one of the other stories in that same chapter too is about a man who literally lost, he had He was running an account with hundreds of millions of dollars or some huge amount. And then he was at a point where he actually had a gun in his mouth, and his wife called Dr. Ram on the phone. And I know you've read this story, Brandee, but just sharing this for everyone else. And just at that moment, his wife is panicking, saying, "My husband is about to shoot himself. Dr. Ram, help." You know, and no matter how much we think we've lost, wow, that we are divine beings with infinite possibility, and in a situation where so much above. I think Dr. Ram gave that man, and that possibility was redirecting him from what he was afraid of to ultimately what did he want. Now the man had lost not only his own money, but all his life savings of his wife's parents and of their best friends. And in that situation, he didn't see a way out, having lost not only all of his own, but everybody else's that trusted him. And so what was beautiful is that through those marmas that Dr. Tushar shared, and then some other ones that are in the book and that we can share at some point, he went from fear-based thinking into possibility-based thinking. He not only eventually, in a period of some years, earned back everything, but more than when he started, able to pay back his wife's parents, able to pay back his friends with interest. And what a gift that he didn't take his life or end his life in that moment. And also for all of us, no matter what we think we've lost, no, every obstacle, every challenge, every heartache has within it the seeds of equal or greater benefit. What happens inside of us mentally, physically, psychologically, when we know that every problem that's on this planet has a solution, and that the gift is for us to discover it, that the miracle happens in the alchemy of us, who we are as divine beings, meeting that challenge now in this time with love. And Brandee, I just think you're doing that so beautifully. So many of the challenges I've seen over the years, and this one is no exception. So thank you for that. It's so beautiful.
Thank you, Clint.
Mati, as you're looking at your sister and also hearing Brandee's case, any wisdom, advice, love that you would share with Brandee?
You're muted, Mati.
Yeah, I was just saying that we all know the wisdom and the miracles that come out of the ancient secrets. My advice is just, just do the work, because miracles happen. It really does. I'm just so grateful to you, Dr. Clint, to the team at Ayushakti, Dr. Tushar, Dr. Naram, Dr. Smita. There are people there who are just helping humanity, and it's just unbelievable. It's there, so use it.
Yeah, so beautiful. For those that do want to have like a personal consultation, the other thing that I love is it's so affordable. Like it's accessible to basically everyone. And so I just make sure we put that link, Carol or Cornelia or Jana, both in the Zoom and then also on the Facebook Live, just so the different places, just to make sure that people have access to that incredible resource that Ayushakti created. I want to open it up. And I don't know, Brandee, if you have even a couple more minutes, but just to have any other feedback or reflections of love or anything from anyone else that feels inspired. You feel inside of your heart that listening today, you have something that you want to share.
Sharon, can you unmute yourself? You have raised your hand.
Thanks. Hi. Yeah, so I'd like to speak a little bit to follow up with what Susan said earlier in the wonderful, amazing value of our community. And the fact that, Brandee, what you're dealing with is kind of a huge situation, and that we have huge resources. And what came to me as you were describing the situation was that something like a TV segment might be really, really powerful. 60 Minutes handles things like this. Situations with drug company fraud, et cetera, et cetera. And I I have a friend who works for a major network that I would be very happy to give a call to. But if anybody has any ideas about getting this onto a major platform where people can hear about it, I think that could be really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Jera, because that's what's been coming to me through this whole thing. I would love to be connected to your friends. I think I think we've got to just get this out everywhere in the media, because this Bitcoin, they were explaining that elderly and families are more aware of like the lottery scams and some of the other ones, but Bitcoin is like brand new, fresh territory. And so it's really coming down hard right now.
Yes. So if you could maybe put your email in the chat so I could have him contact you if he's able to arrange something, that would be great.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Robert, you also raised your hand.
Yeah, I did. I can't remember exactly what I was supposed to be talking about, but can you remind me?
I don't know what you wanted to speak about, but you mentioned before in the chat that you actually used a home remedy when you personally were at the place where you couldn't let go. I don't know if you wanted to speak about that.
Sure.
Yeah, that'd be great here.
So I don't really know how much I'm comfortable sharing about that whole experience, but I had an experience where I was like pretty detached from reality. And I can just say that in that time, my mom called Clint, and I don't really remember much of this at all, but people have told me about it. Anyway, and so it was a huge blessing to be able to get that remedy, and it felt to help a lot. And I've had very mixed reviews with using this. I've felt times where after remedies, I've felt much worse, and times where I felt much better. But that was such I don't even really know how to describe that experience I went through, but it was nice that today when Clint asked like, hey, what's a remedy that, or I think he asked to everyone what's a remedy that maybe would help this elderly lady who's being scammed. And that was the one that came to my mind, was the ghee and saffron. And anyway, I have had such powerful experiences with some of these, and the 100-day course was great, but I also I'm still healing from a serious mental imbalance I had, and I was very aware that my mind wasn't what it was, and so I haven't really been able to remember these the way I'd want. But it has been nice that when I feel like I need them, they're there, and so I don't know. I'm really grateful to be part of this group, and it's been a huge blessing in my life.
Thank you,
Clint,
Robert.
do you want to talk about that at all? Or is there anything you feel like you remember about that experience? You probably remember it better than I do.
Yeah, what I just want to say is that thank you for sharing, and your progress has been amazing. And also, it's like definitely it was guidance of a love of a mother. That's even how the very first chapter in the book starts. But the guidance of this love, when it brings us to moments in which we encounter stuff, we don't need to share all the details of what you went through, but if you can come the space and the distance you've come mentally, emotionally, physically, then so much is possible for anyone else. That's what I want to say. And also just Robert, I just want to acknowledge you're always coming from a place of service and love, and being willing to help and finding possible solutions and being resourceful. When I was with these orphan kids again, and again, as you were listening to Brandee's story and listening to the case of her friend Jennifer, what happens inside of you? This is really something that I would love, maybe even in the breakout rooms, just for us to witness or observe in some way. When I'm with these orphan kids, I learn so much from them. And when I had brought them videos of, we had helped them when the earthquake came. We helped them rebuild. We did lots of fundraisers, and kids from Texas and all over the world had helped raise money to rebuild the orphanage here in Nepal. Now, just almost the next the next summer was when the hurricanes hit Florida and Texas, and many of the homes flooded and destroyed. And I had just happened to be in Nepal, and I was showing them videos of some of their friends that had come rebuild their house, their orphanage, the children's home, but now their homes was lost. And now the orphan kids, they didn't say, oh, there's nothing I can do. I don't have any money. I don't have any power. I don't have any resources. They didn't even hesitate for a minute. They knew they could help. You know, I love that. And they knew instantly. They started generating ideas. The very first thing that they did was pray. And I just remember that sacred moment of being with these little kids as they, you know, prayed in their own way, closed their eyes, and it was like so intense. Their prayers for their friends across the world. You know, I was there for like 10, 15, 20 of the most sacred minutes of my life, listening and being in the presence of these little kids, just speaking their heart with so much love and power in benefit of these other people. That's something all of us can do, you know. Second thing is they started writing letters of encouragement. They said, you know, you're in a difficult situation, but you can make it out. I had this challenge. Also, when my parents were killed, this happened to me, or whatever it was. And they would just write. All of us can speak loving words or encouraging words or words of hope. And the third thing they did is made these love bracelets. You know, they actually made these bracelets where they said, we want to give these to people and raise money. And the money that we make, we're going to donate to them so that they can get their houses back. Now, these kids and Robert have something very similar. They always believe that they can be part of a solution. Dr. Trump says we're either part of the problem or we're part of the solution. And so it's good to be aware of, oh, when we hear a problem like this, actually, Dr. Trump, he would have a problem journal. The bigger the problem, the more excited he got, you know, because he's like, oh, there's going to be a solution. I can be part of the solution. So now, what happens when you hear problems that other people share or problems come to you? Do you feel overwhelmed? Does it make you depressed? You go from fear, you go from protect stuff. What happens inside of you? Or do you think, oh, but there must be something, and I can be a part of the solution. I can send love. I can do that. I can put my hands together. So just start to notice what happens inside of you, because I believe in this community, this Ancient Secrets community, if we can exercise this muscle, that we are creators on this planet. We're not consumers. We're not just consuming fear. We're not just consuming narratives of fear or stories of sadness or whatever. We can also create possibilities. What if the economies fail? What if there's wars? What if there's more terrorism? What if there's natural disasters? Well, what if? What if there's personal challenges? What if there's divorce? What if there's death? What if there's illness? All these things happen because we're human. These challenges face us. But like Viktor Frankl said, the last of the human freedoms is our response in any of those situations. So in that response, like the orphan kids do, or like Robert does, what can I do? How can I help? Dr. Ross says the power of our life is dependent on the power of our questions. The quality of our life is dependent on the quality of our questions. So in those moments, what is the questions that come to us? Questions could be, why is the world so horrible? You know, or why are people so greedy, or all this? Or the question could be like, okay, how can I help Jennifer? How can I support Brandee? How else can I be involved? And like Jerem, coming up with such a powerful solution and a connection and saying, oh, I can be part of the solution. So I just went on a little bit of a rampage there, but I just wanted to share it because when I see you, Robert, I thought of those kids. It reminded me of them. Well, Brandee, I know that you have your own beautiful family that you need to tend to in the midst of all this. How else can we support you in this? Any other insights or wisdom, or what did love teach you on today's call? I don't know if you're still here, Brandee, or not.
Sorry, I had it on mute.
Send you so much love.
Sorry, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I was on mute. Today, I remembered the power of community and prayer and the ancient secrets. I'm really going to use this opportunity of her health problem to kind of come in the back door instead of directly addressing this thing that she's too scared to look at right now. I'm going to focus on her stomach today and her health issue and bring these remedies that direction to her. So yeah, I'm really thankful for today's call. And I think I'm just going to tell her that because she was really complaining in the middle of all of this. She was complaining about her stomach, and I'm sure it's all connected, you know, to what's happening, but she's feeling like this was something bacterial or something else. So I think I will focus on this, and maybe I'll talk to you after this call about how I could even get her a session with you or someone else, even if it's remotely, and get her started on this, because I think this can be very helpful in many ways for her.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. Well, one thing I love is, you know, with the ancient secrets, there's just basically side benefits. And when you help one thing, when you help one thing, it's connected to everything else. And even just you, I also want to say this about you, Brandee, and everyone. I want to say this about you, Mati. I want to say this about you, Dr. Tushar, and everyone on this call, those in the 3-year practitioner, the 1 year, or any of it. Like, you are also the medicine. You're the medicine. You know, Dr. Ram, he said there's knowing and doing. A healer can know a lot of stuff, but it doesn't help unless they can do it. But more important than that is the being. And that state of being is so powerful that it opens up possibilities that didn't ever exist before. You know, in this ancient science, we never force anyone to do anything. We actually wait till they request it themselves. But just by being in a state of loving that person exactly as they are, like Mati, you loving your sister exactly as she is, and allowing her journey to unfold and whatever lessons soul needed to, and just being that presence of love, like that, it just provides, even not just to our logical mind, but to our hearts, our whole being. We know that something is different, and it shifts us in a very different way. And just from you being in that space with her, even if you don't even say anything, you know, of course you'll say things that will be inspired by love, but also you are that medicine. And just from you having, you know, when the light is in a room, the darkness can't stay. And you're such a bright light, Brandee. Such a, you inspire me.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah, good. And I want to say, Mati, you are such a bright light. Dr. Tushar, such a bright light. Thank you for shining that light so much that it helps. You know, many times we talk about depression or sadness in terms of darkness or gloominess, you know, and I believe we should feel all of the emotions, and that there's not a bad emotion, you know, but at the same time, what if suffering is optional? And what if we can make different choices about what we feed ourselves here and what we feed ourselves here that open up totally different possibilities? So just asking yourself, what do you want? And that's another thing, Brandee, I would just encourage you when you're with her. I'm just curious. I would love to know when you ask her, okay, Jennifer, what do you want? I want to serve you. I want to love you. What do you want? I want my stomach pain to go. Okay, cool. Let's do, or whatever the thing is. Like starting at that point and helping her with that thing she wants. Yeah. Cool. So powerful. Jaina, I want to hand it back over to you to integrate more discussion and bring us into some kind of a breakout room for those that want to stay. But before we do that, let's one more time, you know, with this intention of what Brandee said she wanted, let's put our hands together. Just send her so much love from all over the world. You can even unmute yourself, and to Brandee and to Jennifer say, I love you and I'm with you. I love you.
Love you and I'm
Love
with
you
you.
and I'm with
Love
you.
you and I'm with you. Love you and I'm with you.
I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
I'm with you. I love you and I'm with you. Love you and I'm love you and I'm with you. I love you and I'm with you. Love you and I'm with you.
Beautiful. And now I just want us also to Mati's sister, Kati. I just want us to put our hands together to thank her for the inspiring us without even being on the call, but to help her know that we are with her in her continued journey of healing. We can just put our hands together I love you and I'm with
I
you.
love you.
Love you.
I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with
Yeah.
you.
I love you and I'm
Love
with you.
you. With you.
Love you
Great
and I'm with
feelings.
you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Love
With
you.
you.
I love you.
Love, 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 love,
I
love.
love you. Love, love,
Love
love.
you. Marisha. Love you, Sarah.
And did his name on the whole call. She knows everything. So fun.
So beautiful. Anne, so good to see you. Who's your friend there with you, Anne?
Good one. Namaste. My name is Neela.
Neelam. Wow.
Neela.
Good to have you join us.
Let's get called.
So beautiful.
Namaste.
Namaste, Heather. So good to see you. Wow. Heather, I want to hear both from Neelam and from Heather. What did love, we talk about, I didn't come to teach you, I came to love you, and love will teach you. What did love teach you on today's call? Neelam and Heather? And then I'd love to.
This is my first time ever to get connected, so many people there, and I felt loves from everyone. And thanks to Anne for having me. She was like, okay, I was making, cleaning up, and she's like, come see it. And it was been amazing, and I felt so fulfilled somehow. And also through my journey just recently, I'm going through a lot of hardship, and I felt so much acceptance from all of you. And that kind of made me feel very good.
True.
Also,
That is so awesome.
this hardship, I've been having some health problems.
Jane, I want you to kind of coordinate here. But go ahead, Neelam. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I always thought of myself as a very, like I'm strong and I can handle everything. But just recently, what I have been through, you can just say that I lost my balance in life. And this journey brought me to Anne's place. And it's just very humbling. The first thing she told me was, I told her my problem is that she said, this universe and God has a way to make us humble. And I did not quite understood what she meant by that. And then she said, I said, what does that mean? Do you think I have been living my life in pride? Because for me, being from India, pride meant self-respect. Pride meant like I take pride in myself and I can do it, that I don't need to cry for my problem or ask for any help. And she made me realize that it's not good, because that is not a self-respect, that it's good to talk about your problem and to make other people know that we cannot really handle everything. So that's something, even though I've been living my life for a long time, this is something new that I learned. So I'm very blessed to come to her place, and then today listening to all of you, and I felt so much togetherness in today's time, where I have been through a situation where I felt like there was nobody. And by seeing everyone, taking part in what you have brought in your book and with what you're saying, it's a blessing to see that, and that there is a hope in this world. That's what I felt.
There definitely is hope in this world. Go ahead, Dr.
Welcome home. I just want to say welcome home, and you're not alone. And so glad that you're here. Jane, I go over to you.
No, I was just going to say there is hope in this world. One of the things that this call and, so many times, so many other calls taught me is that sometimes we have to be reminded again and again and again, because like Robert was talking about, the remedies work, and then sometimes they don't. And sometimes we stop taking the supplements, and then sometimes we don't. And, sometimes we're in a great place and sometimes we're not. And just that hope that Dr. Clint was talking about, that we had to have the desire and the hope that ignites everything. And you're right, we're not alone. And this community is really amazing. We have to sometimes get out of our own way sometimes. So glad that you are here. So grateful you are here. There are so many people on the call that have their hand up. Romarishi, you've had your hand up. Would you like to speak?
Yes. Well, first of all, Brandee's story was really powerful. And Mati also, both of those stories were wonderful. Normally, I like to always just speak about inspiring things, spiritual topics, but I feel compelled I have to add one thing that relates to what Brandee was talking about. And I'm adding it because I think it could really be of benefit to other people. Yesterday, I received a message from a dear friend on Facebook, and she wanted to know if I knew about this Facebook jackpot thing, where she claimed that they gave her $30,000. Now, this was not from an anonymous person, it was from a friend of ours. It was a message from a friend of ours, and I entered into a chat with her. And I said, this sounds too good to be true. She said, I saw your name. They randomly select people and they give them $30,000. I said, this can't be true. This sounds like a scam. She said, no, it's not a scam. They gave me $30,000. And I thought, this has to be a scam. It's too good to be true. And I wanted to try to confirm, am I really chatting with this friend of mine? And I started asking her personal questions, like, where did she live before where she lives now? And she answered correctly. And I wasn't talking to a friend. I was talking to a scammer. And they were trying to convince me that this was real. And she claimed, the person I thought I was talking to, claimed that they had actually given her $30,000. So then Tara came in and I said, Tara, I'm talking to our friend who's over in Europe, and she's telling me something that is too good to be true. It has to be a scam. So Tara searched on the internet and found out it's definitely a scam. We found a government website saying that this Facebook jackpot thing is a scam. So the only reason I'm sharing this right now is to inform people that the people who are doing this are very sophisticated technologically, and they can actually fool you by making you think you're chatting with a friend. And it's not a friend, it's someone else who's taken control of their Facebook page or hacked into them. So normally I don't bring these kind of things up, but Brandee's story was so powerful about how her friend is basically losing her life savings. I felt compelled to share our personal story of what happened yesterday, just so that people would know that watch out, there are people out there doing these things, and they're very sophisticated, and they can make you think you're talking to your friend, and you're not.
Yes, exactly. You know, I think I get something of a scammer trying to get me to enroll in their scam almost every single day. Bank, text messages from my bank account saying, your bank has been on hold because of fraudulent activity. Please click on this link. And I don't click on that link. I go directly into my bank and realize, no, this is a scam. And the same with, I'll get friend requests from some of the people in our community and realize I'm already their friend. Why would I have another friend request? And it's because of the scam. And when I go and I look at their friends and they have 5 friends. I look at their likes and I realize this is a fraudulent account. So, right. I think talking about this, Brandee, thank you so much for bringing this to light. It really can help the majority of us. I was just thinking about what a powerful testimony to be able to put what she was saying, even on my Facebook page, or even sharing some of the information on my Facebook page to be able to spread the word about the number of scams that are coming. Lori, you've had your hand up. Thank you so much for your hand up. Can you share?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for acknowledging that. And thank you everybody for sharing all your stories. It's been so powerful. one of the things that came up for me when Brandee was sharing, this has also happened to my father, and this is big. I get this such a hateful feeling towards the people that are doing it. And I'm really working on not doing that. How these people are sick, and I don't want to feel hate to them because they still are a human soul that's hurting. But how to have sympathy, or how to just, maybe not sympathy towards them, but find a way to send them love so that they don't have to in turn be so hateful to other people in the world, or to be so hurtful, I should say, to other people in the world. And I find that just such a challenging issue. You know, it's that whole concept of the forgiving a person for, you know, recognizing they're just in pain, or, you know, all these things. And it's just, I find it's just really hard, but I really want to find that way to say, to send them love as well, because isn't that how we clean it up? Is that it's both sides of the, I don't know, it comes up that we spend so much time sending everybody the victim, the love, and yet we also need to send the love to the perpetrator, because they need it more, sometimes more than a lot of us. And I just wanted to bring that up because I struggle with that, right? And I know. And then listening to all of this, I'm like, I know that's the right thing to do. So I wanted to bring up another issue, and then we don't have to talk about that. But sometimes these healing things and the marmas and all the remedies, I am so big in trying to handle my cancer and all my hospital time and all of this, that I like Western medicine is not the only way to handle it, but that's what I grew up with. And it's really hard, like Dr. Clint calls himself the Western skeptic. That's what I feel like I am. And it's like, I do the mung bean, but I don't go farther and do the rest of this stuff. And I'm like, really? That stuff is really going to help? Well, how am I ever going to know if I don't do it? But I have to get past that doubt. And I'm not quite sure. I stay on these calls on Sundays, and it helps me a lot because I see and hear so many people getting helped by it. And I just know that I'm going to receive all these vibes from everybody else, and I'm going to have the courage to do some of this stuff because I too want to be healed. I'm tired of being sick and hiding in my home because of this, you know, the sickness. So anyway, there's just so much. Thank you for finally calling on me.
Thank you. You know, I have so many of my thoughts are going to how I want to respond, and I want to turn it over to the community to be able to respond. And I'm wondering if this is something that we can even chat about because these are big issues. I mean, I have what I want to say, but I want to hear from somebody else. Does anybody else have something? Let's to the people who are doing this scamming and being able to send love to them. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? And if so, unmute. Deborah, did you put your hand up?
I have some thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Yes, please. Both of you. First, Deborah, and then Robert, please.
Yeah, I wanted to share, whenever we have really strong emotions, one of the easiest ways to get ourselves to engage our logic in the emotion is to write. And so if we can write out what we're feeling, what we're distressed by, whatever, the action of using your hand and a pen on a piece of paper actually helps the brain to flip to the logic side, so you can bring some sanity around the topic, so that then you can do the marma, you know, forgive and forget and go to your happy place. But that's a real technique that I have struggled with all my life, because I hate to write things down because I don't want that piece of paper to come into anybody's hand. But the truth is, if something you write is something you don't want anybody else to read, you can always shred it afterwards. So that's my input. Thank you very much.
It's a beautiful input, Deborah. Thank you. It really is true when you can write it out. You know, you can even think, what is it that I want? You know, and honor those emotions that are coming up, even the angry or the emotions that you don't want to honor them, because they're coming up for a reason. And I mean, I think that this is so important that we, instead of pushing them away, not acting upon them, not letting them come like merge, yourself with them where you're hurting somebody or something, but you're honoring them and saying, this is coming up for a reason. What is the message in this? And then even writing that in your message. It's beautiful. Robert, what is it that you would like to share with us?
Yeah, I had something before I want to share briefly, but with the scammers, I think just I've traveled a decent amount and I stand out as an American with red hair and really white skin. And it's really common for people to be grown up that America's this evil place, and it'd be really easy to see that if you're only exposed to our mainstream media and you've never met some of these people and you just see some maybe corrupt politics that's really affected your country. And I've met lots of people who've had really, really terrible feelings towards the US and probably it's probably just. And so some of them, they don't see it as a scam. They see it as being able to bring it into their country. I don't, when I heard the story, and I've been around a lot of scams and stuff too, I didn't feel a lot of hate. I feel sorrow, and there's a lot of really poor people out there. And if I was born, if that was my birth lottery, I would probably scam someone too, for sure. If I'd been brainwashed my whole life that these people were evil, I probably wouldn't even think much about it. That's how I see it. And if I can change the subject briefly, I did want to share that my current problem is a really good problem. There's a meditation that we were able to listen to during a month's miracle thing, and about
It may just be me, but Robert, can everybody else hear Robert okay, or is it breaking up? It's breaking up.
Come to me. Current problems have too many opportunities present, which is good.
Robert, I'd really love to hear you. And for some reason, I'm not able to.
Yeah, is this any better?
Yeah, that's a little bit better. Yes,
Okay.
and I'm sorry, so what I heard before it started to really break up was that you really loved the meditation that we had during the miracle group. Is that what I heard you say?
Yeah, and part of it said that buses of opportunities will be coming your way. That was a line in a meditation I listened to every day for 30 days.
Yeah,
And yeah, and that's my problem in life right now, is that I have too many opportunities, which is a really good problem to have. And so I just don't want anyone to be worried about me, most of my really serious problems are my past, luckily. So I have a really bright future.
Absolutely see that about you. Absolutely see that about you. Thank you, Robert, so much. I really liked what you said about the scammers, because when Brandee was speaking, I just was came to my mind that it was all about perception. Like you said, the scammers, they have a perception of what they're doing. And, I really do believe that most people are doing what they feel is right in their heart, is the right thing to do for them. And, I'm not saying that that's what they're feeling, because I don't know, but if they have that perception that Americans are not good, or that they're doing the right thing by, being like the Robin Hood, robbing from the rich and giving it to the poor, or even giving it to themselves. I don't know. So it's all about perception. And I just really appreciated you bringing out that point. Is there anything else that anybody else would like to say?
Yes, very quickly. It's just building up on what you are saying. And perception goes beyond our awareness, because it creates your life. It creates the way that you experience, not only emotionally, but physically. So the challenge here is that if you're focusing on the problem, you are bringing all that energy into your body, and it's becoming part of your health. It's becoming part of your reality, part of the
Oh, darn it. I loved what he was saying, and it's freezing. Oh, darn it. Oh, darn it. But it's very true. You know, when it comes, when we have something, and this even speaks to Lori, what you were talking about, when something comes in our in our perception, it does affect us emotionally, mentally, and physically.
Totally. And I'm sorry, it was a Wi-Fi network that tried to
There
jump
we
into
go.
my phone. But anyway, the thing is it's hard to understand life. You know, it's hard to understand why Dr. Naram have to change his shirt. You know, when his masters lived for so many years, it's hard to understand why people have to go through all these processes in order to make a living. It's hard to understand that we have to kill an animal to eat it in order for us to survive, or kill the plants in order for us to survive. You know, it's impossible pretty much. But what we can do is just putting our attention in the gifts, putting our attention in the opportunity that these events are bringing into our life, and just take it from there, you know, and it will shift completely. That idea of releasing the emotions, I always teach to my clients, you know, to observe little children. If you take a toy out of a toddler, the first thing that they do is they cry out, and they slap on the floor, and they hit everything, because they release naturally all those emotions, and then they calm down, and so many times they even fall asleep. And the thing is that we stop doing that because it's not socially appreciated, you know, but we have to do it because that's the natural way for us to release what is inside and then focus on the good stuff. That's my contribution, and I love you all, guys.
Was a beautiful contribution. I hope that you can contribute like that more. It was amazing. So amazing. I love that. Yes, you're right. We do need to get that emotion out. You know, I had something this week that happened, that everything that you were talking about, the process, you know, that little thing was triggered, and I experienced the anger and frustration and you know, the fear of the loss, you know, the loss of whatever it was. And then, you know, was able to calm down. Is there something else that anybody else would like to say or comment on about what has been said, or their own thoughts and healing? Or, and please unmute, because I'm on my phone. I can't see everybody's raising their hand. So now, Lori, did we answer all of your questions, or did we help answer? Or is there something that you would like to reach out to the community and respond to again?
No, I think, you know, there's two main things going on. So it's probably for another time. Just that whole concept of how to help myself eliminate the doubt or acknowledge the doubt, to then still move into doing, you know, trying the immunity tea or trying the energy, instead of, you know, I'm so tired of taking the Western medicine pills, and I'm not going to stop because that's what my doctor is recommending. But I love my doctor's like, whatever you want to do in addition, that's fine. I mean, I'm glad he's supporting that. I mean, I'm lucky, because I know some doctors would say, no, not at all. But, you know, how to do both. And just the whole idea, just how to really, I mean, I've got the book, you know, I'm looking up pages, I do this stuff. I've only read parts of it. I haven't read it, you know, how just doing this part-time is not going to work. And how to, how to help myself get into it fully and not be afraid of it, or not hide from it. How to, yes, I've seen solutions, I've seen the miracles, so go for it. You know, how to just, I don't know how to express it in words. And maybe I do need to journal, like she was saying, with all that, but how to really believe in this stuff, and to really do the buy-in. How do I get the buy-in for myself? I mean, I see it, but then to actually do it, I'm doing it half-ass, and that's why it's not working. Anyway.
Lori, I think you're probably touching almost every single person's heart right here on this call, because I believe that each one of us have probably had some sort of skeptic inside of ourselves, just very much similar to Dr. Clint. The one thing that I do recommend is coming back to the what do you want? And when you come to the what do you want, it sparks the desire. And at the sparking of the desire, then you will know what to do. For me, I had to read the book cover to cover, and I had my doubts, and I had to read it from cover to cover again. And then as I had already applied the Marma points. I already knew that the Marma points worked.
Yep.
But then when Dr. Clint came to Florida, I was like, you know what? I got to see if this guy's real. And I drove 10 hours to Florida to see if this guy was real. And I believe he was real. But every time, I mean, my issue, I came for the ancient secrets. I mean, I had heart health issues, and I had gallbladder issues and heartburn, but my major one is weight. You know, I'm overweight. And how do I know that this is a slow process. And then I get to a place where I have been on mung bean soup and vegetables for a year and a half, and I've stopped losing the weight. Now, what do I do? And so I've had to go through the letting go of the trauma and trying the different remedies and realizing that the commitment that I made even a year and a half ago is not the commitment that I can make right now. But I'm in a different place because I have used the remedies. I have experimented with some of them. And now I can make a different commitment. And with the help of some of the other doctors, I've been able to make bigger commitments and you know, looking at things differently and changing, you know, something more. We can't change everything all at once. We just can't. It's just impossible. You know, well, I can't say that it's impossible because there are people who can't do that. But there's a lot.
Yeah.
But
and I will say what I think is interesting is all this work, you know, the doctors haven't been able to find a quote, a pill to help me. You know, I actually left the hospital in the same condition. I may not have getting yet as many blood transfusions, but my numbers were the same. And so I've been doing all of this stuff. And I will say my numbers are all plateauing, my blood numbers, you know, so I'm not getting worse. I'm not getting transfusions. So something I'm doing is at least helping my body kind of balance itself. And it's not the medication, because he's already acknowledged none of the medications they've been able to find to help me. And this is just such a weird situation, you know? So I'm like, okay, so how do I know that what I've been doing with the mung bean and the other stuff and the marmas, how do I know that isn't helping? You know, it's kind of like my brain's going, I don't know, but it could be. You know, I wish it was just more black and white, but it's not.
well, you know, I really believe that the home remedies are food, and I really believe that the supplements are food, and everything that I've heard from everybody, I just feel like it's what we feed our body and what we feed our mind. That's what Dr. Clint is always saying. And sometimes we just have to go to our heart. You know, my dad was ill for many years, and I saw things happen to him that I don't ever want to have happen. And I have been to doctor after doctor after doctor, and nobody could help me. The ancient secrets have been the first hope. And though it is a very slow process for me, the desire in my heart is pretty dang strong, just because of the experience that I've had. And Lori, I really think that that's what it comes down to, is to really look at what desire you want. Does anybody have anything else they would like to
I
say?
just want to say real quickly, thank you so much, because I'll tell you, one of the people in this group that has kept me in this group are people like you. Your love and your big heart comes through this physical screen. I don't know how, but it does. I've always felt your love and your big heart. And it's people like you that keep me. So I want to thank you for your words and your love and your sensitivity and your vulnerability, because you mean so much to me. And we don't even quote know each other other than this screen. So thank you so much for you.
Thank you. Thank you. So appreciate that. You know, I was doubting myself this week, and that's exactly what my sister told me. She's like, Jana, people love you because of your big heart, not because of your big bottom.
Oh, Yeah, it comes through the screen. You are big, 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 big love. And I'm telling you, you are one of the people that has kept me on these calls. So thank you.
Thank you. Laura, you're amazing. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything else they would like to say?
I just want to add something very quick to both of you. The way that your brain works, it's in a very efficient way. It will apply energy to the neurons that you're using currently, and will stop applying energy to the neurons that you're no longer using. So for example, if you try to remember what type of keychain you used to have on your first car, is gonna be almost impossible, because this is something that you are not constantly using anymore. But as soon as you got a new car and you have to find out the new spaces where you're gonna carry all the stuff that you used to carry on your previous car, it's uncomfortable. It's difficult. But because you are exercising it, you are applying it every single day, becomes part of your routine and becomes part of you, to the point that you can be driving and just picking up the things without paying attention to where they are now, because your brain knows where it is. Everything is rewired. So now, if you are feeling that you auto-sabotage yourself because this is not a real experience that belongs into your story, into your past, you don't have neurological connections to the healing. So what you need to do is just keep going, understanding that this is a trick of your mind, and keep creating those references inside of you and applying it over and over and over and over and over and over again until they become part of you. Because that is the only way that you're really gonna try what Dr. King says, to become it, to become the healthy person. Not just knowing and doing, but becoming. It takes time and it takes practice, but it's a natural process. The same way that you learn where you're gonna place your cutlery when you move to the new house, to the last house, the same way you do it with your diet, the same way you do it with your exercises, the same way you do it with your diet. It's hard at the beginning, but then you become it. And that's when it becomes easy, because it becomes part of you. Okay, so I have to go now, but
It is so beautiful. I think we all probably need to go now too, but Jacob, thank you so much for your wise words. The three principles that Dr. Clint has based these calls on, the what you want, the Aditi Devo Bhawa, and the gratitude, just answer everything that you talked about. When you apply those principles over and over again, it really instills the blessings of this community and these ancient secrets. But I see a lot of people are needing to go. So let's unmute and say, I love you and I'm with you. I love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm with you.
Yes,
I
we love you.
love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
I love you and I'm
Love
with
you
you.
and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with
Love you
you.
and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
Love you and I'm with you.
I'm with you.